Today on Digital Signage Done Right, we're digging into two things that are reshaping digital signage right now. Visual design trends that are making the biggest impact in 2026, and how AI tools are being used to create better content faster, or at least content faster. To talk with me about that today is Debbie DeWitt, Marketing Communications Manager for Visix. Hi, Debbie.
Hi, Derek.
Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks everybody out there for listening. Don't forget there is a transcript of the conversation we're about to have on the Visix website. Whether you're using digital signage or not, our podcast gives you practical tips for communications and content to better engage your audience. I'm Derek DeWitt. Welcome to Digital Signage Done Right. So, Deb, it almost sounds like two separate topics, design trends and AI tools, but I think they're a bit more connected than it might seem at first blush.
Yeah, I mean, AI is a design tool, and we know it's definitely dominating a lot of conversations right now.
Yeah, we really see some pretty active debates in both the design world and the copywriting world about the value of using AI and even the legitimacy of using AI. There are a lot of AI haters out there.
Yeah, definitely. But I will say on this episode, I really don't want to get into the pros and cons of using AI. We have several episodes you can go look at and certainly go out and do that on your own. But right now, I'm just going to assume that you're using it.
So obviously, when we're talking about design trends, colors every year, there's a color of the year from Pantone, and different color palettes are being discussed by different design firms, and you see it happen out there in the world around us. Color is a design element that I think affects the whole mood of the screen or the message or the designed piece of content. What's going on with color in 2026?
Big, bold, saturated color is absolutely back. You know, for several years, we've seen these muted palettes and like safe neutrals, dusty pastels, very restrained colors, which look beautiful. But 2026, the pendulum has swung hard the other direction. Designers are going out for vibrant, high energy color I think it's to cut through the noise.
And I think digital signs also, bold seems to be better, certainly for grabbing attention at a distance.
Exactly. I mean, that's why we're seeing brighter blues and deep terracottas. Everybody's getting more vivid with their colors. So it feels a little more alive. We always talk about drawing attention. I think crucially, these are being used in contrast forward pairings. So it's how you're blending those colors. Like a deep saturated background with a bright contrasting foreground does exactly what digital signage needs. In that design, you want it to stop you in your tracks.
Yeah, for sure. Now, it's interesting. The backgrounds, however, I've been noticing so far this year seem to be doing a lot of gradients. Is this like a way to contrast with those bold, bright colors, or what's going on with that?
I think it's just another way to use them. It's still a bright color, but we've seen gradients really mature. They used to get kind of ugly. You'd get these lines in them. So we're seeing what designers are calling soft glow gradients. It's more cinematic, it's atmospheric. So the color fades feel, more like ambient lighting. I think that they feel more premium. They feel more modern and a little more welcoming. So we're seeing a lot of those paired with those colors.
Okay. Anything else going on with color?
I'd say one more trend that I've been seeing out there, it's kind of a weird word, but it's called glassmorphism. It's like this frosted glass aesthetic. So you see this translucent panel looking almost layered over those gradients or those colors or even an image.
You're looking at something that's, in the shower.
You're right. Yeah. It's kind of a soft blur.
Right.
Or
okay.
Maybe a subtle border, but it's again, going for very sophisticated. It's very techy. It helps make any text or anything you put on top of it more readable. I think this comes from like Apple and Tesla. Those dashboards use this. And so it's been driving that into mainstream design a lot. And, again, anything in mainstream design, especially something in a UI or anything digital design, translates excellent to digital signs.
Yeah. And I think they all have readability implications, the things we've talked about. Bold colors, glowing gradients, glassmorphism. Do you have like a rule of thumb for designers out there?
I mean, the rule of thumb that we harp on, let's see, I don't know in what, every single episode is that contrast is king. Always, whatever trend you're using, whatever design thing you're doing, your headline text has to be legible. If you've got a QR code, don't make it 13 colors. Make sure it's easy to scan. Right. A beautiful gradient background doesn't mean anything if you've got like white text over the glow area, so it disappears into it.
Right.
So I think, again, it's always contrast is king, basic design techniques.
Yeah, use your noodle, basically. And, there's a ton of stuff on this podcast about design fundamentals. We've got tons of other episodes. We've got blog articles. We've even got a design guide that'll tell you all about things like hierarchy, contrast, spacing, font choices. It was written a couple of years ago, but it's still valid stuff. The human eye hasn't changed in the last few years, though design trends do.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. Take our tools that talk about basic design for digital signs and then go out there and do your own research.
So let's talk about style, visual style. What are some of the big trends and movements this year?
I think the most interesting thing we're seeing is, I'll just call it like sort of human-made pushback. We've had all of these years of a lot of stock imagery. Now we're seeing a lot of AI-generated imagery flooding everything. And I think audiences are kind of craving something that's a little more authentic, genuine, something made by a real person. We're seeing a lot of handcrafted aesthetics, organic textures. Take a picture of a texture and use that instead of going out and getting, clip art. You're seeing imperfect shapes, doodle style illustrations, a lot of done by hand or done on the computer illustrations, deliberately rough typography, not a font set, but actually like hand-drawn typography.
Right. Though, you can get AI to make those as well, to be honest. And I do think it's funny, that this, high-tech solution that everybody's using these days, AI, out there to make design easier is pushing people towards styles that kind of make it look like it's not made by AI, but
Yeah, humans are a paradox. It's a bit of a psychological thing. As we talked about, there's a lot of debate going on. So as AI becomes more prevalent, a lot of people want to see more that little kind of human imperfection. That's what they want to see as a differentiator. But, like you said, you can use AI to actually do that as well. But it's about the visual style you're serving them. No one's going to ask you, how did you make that?
Oh, they might, but yeah.
They might, but hey, yay, that means they're looking at your signs.
Yeah, that's true. So you mentioned typography, and I think that's a very important one. In digital signage, I think the general rule is less text is better, and so what kind of font you choose is very important sometimes. What typography trends are we seeing in 2026?
Well, other than those sort of handcrafted looking, I think we're seeing a lot of oversized, expressive typefaces are everywhere. So fonts that take up space, like a lot more space than you normally would. It's no longer just use Arial for a headline and 3 bullets. They convey the mood. Sometimes things are pure typography, no imagery at all. I hate to sound so old, but like Bring Into Noise, Bring Into Funk, those posters, someone go look it up. It's that kind of using typography to tell the whole story, set the mood. As we always say, the most effective approach, keep your headline bold. The most important information has to stand out. You want to keep it, I'd say like 5 words or fewer, certainly for that headline. I'd say the other thing that's really important in typography right now is we always talk about call to action. If you're using like a URL, shorten that thing, make it bold, make it stand out. Or better yet, I say use a QR code. But when we're talking about text, just make it bold.
Yeah, I mean, QR codes are great. They don't get in the way because it's a kind of an unusual, unique visual element. So like, this is a QR code. So it's not really getting in the way of your words and letters and things like this. And the QR code is a call to action if people take it, and it gives you something that's easy to measure. And some people are starting to be quite clever even with the way that they incorporate QR codes into their designs, which is very nice, I think.
You can incorporate imagery in different colors. Don't do too much. And the biggest thing is that size. The size depends on where this display is compared to the audience. That phone that's going to pop up to scan that QR. If your display's, 20 feet in the air, you need to make it a big QR code. If you've got an interactive kiosk or something that's right there, you can make it quite small because they can zoom in. But yeah, just size is really important.
Okay, so that's design trends for the year so far. Back to AI. I think a lot of people think that AI is this kind of magic shortcut. You'd be foolish at this stage in the AI progression game to just spit out what AI comes up with without doing any thinking about it. I think that's just a mistake.
If you walked into a graphic designer in your company and said, "Hey, make me a message,"
Right.
that would be it. This is the most important thing I can tell anyone starting out with AI content tools. The AI doesn't know what you're trying to accomplish. You do. So before you type a single prompt, you need to be clear on 3 things. We always talk about this. What do you want to say? Who's your audience? And what do you want them to do?
Yeah, that's true for any good content: message, audience, call to action.
Exactly. It's not any different because it's AI. It's all the same good communications and good design discipline. If you can't answer those 3 questions before you open up your whatever AI tool, it's not going to be very useful. It's no different because it's AI. Everybody, like you said, it's not a wizard. It's not a magic wand. It's all good communications and design discipline. You got to answer those questions clearly before you even open the tool.
All right, so give us an example. Walk us through what it looks like in practice.
Okay, on the spot. Okay. So,
Yeah, on the spot.
say you manage displays for a university campus and you need a message about, extended library hours during finals week. What do you want to say? You want to say that the library is open till midnight during finals. Who's your audience? Students who are, and this is important, not just students, but students who are stressed and need to know this. What do you want them to do? Well, come study and maybe scan a QR code for the full library hours schedule. So that's your brief. It's pretty simple, but that brief can help inform the prompt.
Oh, okay. And then that prompt gives you dramatically better results than just typing into the AI thing. Make a message about library hours.
Yeah, night and day. I think specificity is everything. In addition to all of that, you want to include the mood, the audience, the visual style, and that clear call to action. In terms of the visual, you can give it as much info as you can. Styles and mood, images, colors, fonts. You can get really specific. You can say, use warm colors. You can say, even better, use a photo of a building on University of Dayton campus. Obviously, if this is for University of Dayton, it can actually pull from the web.
Can you imagine? University of Florida's like, we don't know. We just stuck University of Dayton up there.
Right.
Why not? It's a nice building.
Right.
And also make sure it's not pulling from iStock or some other paid service, because you might end up with a watermark on your image as well, and now you've just added clutter at best to your message.
Yeah, I mean it's pulling from the same, like when you Google Images and you get those previews with the watermark. It's going to give you that one. It's not going out to the iStock site buying the photo for you. So.
Right. Not yet.
No, not yet. I'm sure you could one day when you have an account. Yeah. I'd say, or skip the photo and say something like use retro future style or Nouveau or Deco or Bauhaus or whatever you're using. Just give it a starting point. Because if you don't say anything, you're going to get something really plain, like really plain. I mean, if you think about PowerPoint, if you use a blank template instead of choosing a theme and assigning your own colors, fonts, it's the same thing. You're going to get some like blue square with a gold outline.
And I think something that a lot of people don't quite realize is that you don't really talk to or communicate with AI systems the way that you do Google search. You don't just put in phrases. Talk to it. A lot of people are now using their microphones because it actually comes out more natural and more nuanced in order to talk to the thing. Like, have a back and forth with the AI system before it generates anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's more of a conversation. Again, thinking about walking into that office of your graphic designer. That's what you're doing.
Okay, so I go through this and then it generates something and I don't like it.
Do it again. This is the number one mistake I think people make. They try out ChatGPT or Gemini or one of these and they get the result and they go, it's not perfect or it's ugly. And they just go, this tool isn't good, and they give up. AI is built for a bunch of iterations. Right. You need to alter your prompt, try a different tone descriptor, flip some detail in there. If it came back too busy, ask it to be more minimal. If it's too cold, ask it to warm it up. You're in a creative conversation. Like we said, you're not just placing an order, of do this. It doesn't know anything you don't tell it.
In fact, I would argue that it doesn't know anything at all, because LLMs are literally just prediction machines. That's all they do. They're just predicting the next word. They're just really, really, really good at it. The other thing to keep in mind is no one is saying that you're stuck using an entire result. So let's say you did it, 4 times, and you liked the call to action from this one, but you didn't like the rest of it. You liked the image that it came up with from this iteration. You liked the opening section from this other one. Use each of the good sections and combine them together. No one is forcing you to just, click copy to clipboard and that's it. You should do some moving around. You should do some editing for sure, at least.
Yeah, unless it gives you like the perfect one, which
Right.
That would be awesome. But keep in mind, we're not saying like you take those designs and combine them. Again, that's that conversation. You literally tell it, I loved the call to action from this one. I like the headline here. I like the background here, but I like the font you used here. It'll do it for you, and it does it for you in seconds.
Yeah.
It gives you the raw material. Keep working with it. Your job is to edit it into something that's true to your brand, true to the message, true to the audience.
Now, like you said, there's Gemini and ChatGPT and Claude and a whole bunch of them out there. Personally, I have to say I think I prefer Claude for a number of reasons.
Yeah, I love Claude for copywriting. I haven't used it a lot for image generation. I've used Gemini for that, which uses Nano Banana, and it's getting really, really good. I think you have to play with different platforms to find out which one you like best. They all look similar, but they behave differently, even in the way they go back and forth, what results they give you. I would try the same prompt across several AI tools and see what you get. But I would also maybe try different examples. So you might find one that's best for images, another for videos, another for text. I think you have to, like anything else, you have to go out there and play with it and find out which one's best for you.
Okay, so now in Access TV Signage Suite, 2 AI tools have now been incorporated into the software. The first one is the AI Text Assistant, which is right there inside the Quick Start message workflow. So you get your template open, you've done your thinking, you know what your message is, your audience, your CTA, and so on. And now you're ready to use the tool. What do we do?
So this is easy. You're in a template, and in that template, there are these little fill-in boxes that you put in of text. So you put in your text, even a rough draft or a few key points. It doesn't have to be polished. And then you click a little AI button, little icon, and it rewrites it for you. And you get to choose a tone for that. They've got professional, friendly but professional, funny, casual, and my favorite, short as possible.
Yeah, especially for digital signage, right? But those different tones produce meaningfully different outputs, right?
Yeah, it's not just little tweaks like one word here or there. It rewrites it. So professional's very what it sounds like. It's very authoritative, clean. Friendly but professional, warms things up. It's more conversational but still appropriate. Funny. I have to say, it's got a good sense of humor. It goes for levity. It's great for like event invites, internal culture messaging. We say all the time, lighten things up once in a while. Casual's just that. It's like talking to a friend. And as we said, short as possible is great, especially when you're working within sort of tight screen real estate, because it just trims that message down to its core.
Right. Fewer words, more impact. We always say something along those lines.
Yeah, exactly. And the nice thing is you don't have to commit. Like you don't have to just choose one of those and go, okay, that's what I got. You can keep generating, and each time you generate, you can choose one of those tones, a different tone. And then at the end, you can just choose the one that you like the best and then just schedule it like normal. So it's really nice, especially if you don't want to have to write out the whole thing. You just give it a few words and it'll do it for you.
And the second one is the AI Message Designer, which comes out on July 14th, Bastille Day, for those that know or care, in version 1.112 in that update. And that generates the full visual imagery, typography, everything from scratch. So it's a very different tool than the first one. Much more.
Yeah. This is creating your whole message. So it's in the add content workflow, which if you're not using, please get the update. It's so fast. Right on the overview screen, you just hit add content, AI message, and then all you have to put in is a name. You choose your aspect ratio, and then you write the prompt. And we've already given you some advice on that. So put in your prompt, and then it generates the full message with the visual and everything. And the more visual information you can give it, the better. And if you don't love the result the first time, you can hit generate again, and it'll do another one. And you can do, I'd recommend probably do it 3 times and see which one you like the best. After that, basically, it's got the same options as any other message. You just do your transition, time on screen, whether you want to track playback analytics, and then you schedule it. It's all right on one screen too. That's the beauty of that add content workflow. Everything's on one screen. But yeah, you don't design anything. You just tell it to design it.
Right, you're really designing your prompt.
Yeah.
In many ways, which are the instructions to the AI. Here's what I want, and the more detail you give it, the better the result. Right?
Yeah, I mean, we had that example before. So a strong prompt for our campus example might be something like message for university library during finals week. Bold headline: open late this week. Text is library.com/hours. Warm, earthy tones. Friendly, calm mood. That's a complete brief. There you go. You're done.
And then see what it comes up with and tweak it as need be.
Exactly.
So then it just builds you the whole message, one that you can preview. So you can regenerate again and even a third time if absolutely necessary.
Yeah, just like with the text, AI text assistant, they all stay on screen. So it's not like each time you generate what you had gets wiped out.
Right, I forgot.
Right. So you just pick your favorite. And then again, like I said, you just schedule it right there.
And as always, you got to keep in your mind through this entire process, what's your message? Who's your audience? And what do you want that audience to do? That stuff has to somehow be in the prompt along with visual preferences like color, mood, style, specific imagery, layout, fonts, etc.
Yeah, and I'd say, we talked about regenerating. If the result is close but not right, you need to, as we said, note what you liked and carry that forward in your next prompt. You don't have to just keep hitting generate but leave your prompt the same. Change it. Say like, leave out the blue. Like you can literally be like, it's a campus. We're maroon and gold. And I didn't tell you that the first time. Go back, add it in, and hit generate again.
So let's talk key takeaways here. What should people remember when it comes to Design Trends 2026?
I'd say embrace bold color and strong contrast. Your displays are capable of spectacular visuals. So don't play it safe. Use those big fonts. Use those bold colors and maybe pick one of these trends we've talked about or one that you've researched and try it on your next message. Do it right now.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. And what's one key takeaway about AI content creation tools?
Do the thinking first. I know we sound preachy and repetitive, but you got to know your message. You got to know your audience. Got to know what you want them to do. The AI can't do that for you. So think about it. And honestly, I would get out there and maybe take a prompt writing course or read a couple articles. There's a lot of information online to help you with this.
To our listeners out there, get the Access TV Signage Suite software update next week and try out both AI tools for yourself. The text assistant and the AI message creator are both right there in the add content workflow. As for deeper dives on design fundamentals, check out our blog, our design guide, which I already mentioned, and other podcast episodes. All this stuff is on the website under resources.
Yes, please do. These tools are there to make you faster and more creative, but your understanding of your audience is still what makes the content work. That part's all you.
Yeah, that's right. All right. There you have it. Thanks for listening. I'd like to thank my guest today, DeWitt, Communications Manager for Visix, for chatting with me today. Thanks, Debbie.
Thanks, Derek.
And thank you, everybody out there, for listening. For more free stuff, head to resources on Visix.com for guides, videos, and more to help with your visual communications. Please subscribe and share, and contact us for information about our digital signage solutions.